Hey there, YouTube. With cooler weather coming, I wanted to take an old recipe and tweak it a little bit and get it ready. I love stews. I grew up on stews, but more specifically Brunswick stew. And this isn't going to be anything like a Brunswick stew, but it just kind of got, when I first started developing this a few years back, I just said, I just want something really hearty. So there's a lot of hearty, good stuff in here. So this isn't an exact recipe because I don't really do recipes. And normally I would have just made this and given you a little bit more tweaked version of it, but we're just going to go because people like to see it being made. All I'm going to do is use this hand, put it in here. But anyhow, all right. Now, one thing, and we'll come back to this when I put all this together. I've got some marinated mushrooms here. The marinade, people will ask, but the marinade really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I probably never make it the same. I just use what's around. I'll usually squeeze a lemon in there. I'll put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. I'll usually put a little bit of garlic powder. I'll put a little bit of chili powder. And that's just about it. And then I'll let them sit usually I'll do them in the morning and let them sit all day. And at a certain point of the day, they get a little bit of light on them. But that's the marinade right there. And we're going to make the sauce. Now, this is kind of a tomato sauce. It's not a barbecue sauce. It's just a sauce I like. That's all there is to it. So we're going to start. I've got a whole regular tomato here. And I have 2 Roma tomatoes. So there's this in my Vitamix. There's how far your tomatoes go. A regular tomato, 2 Roma tomatoes. And I've got in here, I've got about 10 pieces. Once again, I'm just kind of like playing with this. This isn't a recipe. About 10 pieces of sun-dried tomatoes. Next, and yeah, I'm just freehanding. I'm going to put a little splash. Apple cider vinegar. Next, I'm going to put just a little drop, a drop or two of liquid smoke. For the purist out there, just simply don't put it in if you don't want to. Next, I'm going to put a teaspoon of organic chili powder. I'm putting a big chunk of sweet onion, Vidalia specifically. Ask somebody from the South, they'll know those Vidalia onions. And then I'm putting 4 Daglet, is that how you say it? Dates in there. Now, if you had medjool dates, I'd just put probably 2 of those in there. And then we're just going to blend it up. Nope, I'm not adding any liquid to it. Just going to blend it as it sits right there. Now, we'll see how that came out. Now that came out nice and chunky. That's the whole thing. Like I say, I want this whole recipe. I want it thick and I want it chunky. So let's see how this tastes, and then we'll go in and tweak it if need be. And just as I thought I would, I had to go back in there and tweak it just a little bit more. So what I did is I added just another splash of apple cider vinegar. That twang gives it a nice little boost there. I used another half teaspoon of chili powder, and I used a little cayenne pepper for heat. And another thing too, especially as the weather gets a little bit colder and cooler, you can warm this stuff up. If you just let if you have a high-speed blender, if you just let it keep blending, it will it'll get warm, and that's nice, especially in cooler weather. So without further ado, we're going to build our bowl now. And I'm going to start off with the meaty goodness of the mushrooms. I love these marinated mushrooms. I swear I should keep them around all the time. They're good in almost anything. I've always liked mushrooms. I remember, not very vegan thing to talk about, but I worked in a steakhouse, bartended at a steakhouse. I guess that was in '97 or '98, and they had these little burgundy mushrooms that were just out of this world. So anyhow, first I put that in there. I just put a nice good little portion in there, and next I'm gonna add some more tomato in there, because why not? Just get some good tomato in there, topped on top of those mushrooms. And then we've got some corn. Corn was always in Brunswick stew, so I guess that's where I got the corn thing from. And like I say, you can use different things in this. It's not necessarily that. I just kind of came up with something I thought I liked. And then next I've got some red bell pepper I'm going to mix in there. And we've got our lovely bowl just like that. Then I'm going to get it, because it's sat here for just a minute. I'm going to give my sauce one more little quick blend. This is really thick. I definitely didn't want to, and then I just top it. I just top it like this. And we need a spoon. And then I'm just going to mix it all in like that. Just get it like nice and stewy. Stewie Griffin. And you just mix it up like that. And then at the end, I remember the last time I did this, you could make, I've got this, I make cashew sour cream sometime. You could make that and put a little topping on there. But I just have some avocado. A little nice fat on top. A little different texture, color. And voila, there you go. And that's tasty. That's really tasty. I've had it a number of times. I made it back when I was in that house. Remember when I was in my mom's house for a while, but this is good. So that's all it is. And you know, I've thought I might start doing a segment either here or Instagram or something, just in the kitchen with Jack. Excuse me there. In the kitchen with Jack, because it's kind of, it's not misleading, but it's just the closest thing I can say when I title things a recipe. But I don't really do proper recipes. A lot of times, even when I do, I don't write them down. I tweak them. I make them a little bit different. And sometimes I just get in the kitchen and go, okay, need a little sweet, put a date in there, need this, blah, blah, blah. If you learn some basic things in your kitchen, you can feed yourself really well on this lifestyle. And you don't have to depend on always having a proper recipe. And if you can learn how to adapt and substitute for things that are not necessarily vegan or that maybe aren't raw, you can eat quite good. So anyhow, I hope that wasn't too hard to follow. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. I'll see you here again in a day or two, and y'all have a beautiful evening. Peace.